Hi guys, if you saw my last video then you know that today is going to be about setting up your intonations. It's something that needs to be done when you get your guitar set up, if you change your string gauge like I did in the last video. Before you do it, it's important to have firstly a few tools. Most commonly you'll need a screwdriver and a chromatic tuner. Occasionally, and I'll get to this a bit later at the end, you'll need a hex key. You don't necessarily need one, but for certain guitar bridges to adjust the intonations you actually do need a hex key, and I'll show that at the end. Before you start doing your intonations, it's very important to first make sure that your guitar is actually set up properly, so make sure that your neck is straight, you haven't got any string buzzing or anything, and make sure that the action is at the height you want and that the string gauge is the string gauge that you want to use for a while. Otherwise, if you do your intonations and then get it set up and straighten the neck and all that, you'll just undo all your intonation work and you'll have to spend time doing it all over again. But doing it, it's easy. I've got the Brian May Burns guitar out to do this for you, and hopefully you'll learn something. The first thing you want to do is just make sure that your guitar is actually in tune. You do need a chromatic tuner to do this, as it works best, because as you can see you can set it up and you can get the tone and you can see how flat and how sharp it is. But yeah, all of our strings should be pretty well in tune here, because I did it before starting the video. But yeah. You can pick up one of these for about $20 to $30. You don't need anything super fancy, just as long as it tells you the tune, then it should all be good. Now for the tricky stuff, we need to actually find out where our harmonics are at. So to test your harmonics, first play the open string, make sure it's in tune. As you can see, it's well in tune. And then what you want to do is play the harmonic. So just put your finger over the top of the 12th fret and play the string. Now you can see it's a little bit flat, and that's what we're going to try and fix. Okay, so once you've seen how out of tune your string is, you need to come around to the back of the bridge to where you'll see the screws. And what each screw does is adjust the saddle. So if you turn it anti-clockwise, it'll move the saddle towards the nut, making the string play sharper. If you turn it clockwise and tighten the screw, it'll bring the saddle back towards the bridge, which will make it play flatter. Now with our string, it played flat, so what we need to do is we need to adjust it anti-clockwise to play a little bit sharper. Just like that. Once you've done adjusting that screw, you need to come back and test your string. You'll firstly have to retune the string and make sure it's playing the correct note, which you can see it is, and then you play the harmonic. And as you can see, I've done a good job this time because it's playing perfect. So it takes a bit of trial and error, so just keep going. You'll have to tighten and adjust it, keep retuning as you do it until you get it in tune, and then you just do it for the rest of the strings, make sure it's perfect, and then you're all good to go. As I said earlier, sometimes you might need to use one of these hex keys or Allen wrenches to adjust your intonations. It's not so much to adjust the saddle, but because on a bridge like this one, which has a collar in it, which is a very good tremolo, you actually need to use on some of these screws at the back, which only adjust with an Allen key, and to adjust those ones, you need to first loosen off the string completely, and then the saddle here will just slide backwards and forwards. So you actually need to have a pretty good idea of how much to adjust it to save yourself a lot of time of having to detune, retune, adjust the saddles, get it playing properly, and do all that. I'm obviously not going to do it here because this guitar's in tune and I don't want to mess with it because it can take a lot of time to do. But basically all you need to know is just work out how your bridge and saddles adjust, and then get all the tools you need, get a chromatic tuner, put it in tune, and that will help you out and get your intonations done. And that's about it for today, guys. So like I said before, make sure your neck is firstly straight, make sure your action height is where you like it to be at, and make sure the string gauge you're using is the string gauge you want to use for at least a while, unless you want to keep adjusting your intonations and redoing that every time you change strings. I hope you've all learnt something today. If you haven't, then as always, next time. Next time I think I might start doing some videos of some building. I've got a violin that I'm working on. I've also got a guitar that I've been working on for quite a while that I haven't really put heaps of time in, so there's still plenty to show you guys on what goes into building a guitar, doing that. So yeah, once you've got your guitar set up and intonations done, it's time to rock out and just blast your ears out and don't wake the neighbours. So until next time, see you later. I'm Daniel Peake. See ya.